At first, one could be mistaken for thinking pop culture is just the mindless dross of common people, considered to be junk such as Pokemon, The Simpsons, Nicki Minaj, or even Justin Bieber. However, when you really think about what is pop culture, you begin to realise it's not as easy as it seems. So in week 2, in my blog entries, I tried to find a definition, or at least create my own. I danced around the idea a lot. There was a lot of fluff. But eventually I found what I was trying to say right at the very end. So based on my own experiences of growing up, I came to the conclusion on what I think pop culture is. I think it's a constant evolution of trends, fads that represent society at that very time. So I've been looking into possible myths or assumptions about pop culture in the English classroom. I've looked at that it can be considered irrelevant as an object of study, that it's inferior to higher culture. I looked at also that it has no real educative benefit for students. From my opinion, I felt that my teachers were only using pop culture as a real a candy bait to get us to begin to think about higher culture texts that we were going to study. So really my assumptions that I had were based along the aesthetics of pop culture. In Making Sense of Education, Gordon Tait suggests that Plato was the first person to separate high culture from low culture. Plato achieved this by only incorporating literature he deemed important enough to be part of society into education. However, literature like poetry was deemed irrelevant. He was certain that a poet did nothing to elevate society and only spoke to the lowly masses of the common people. Gordon Tait mentions that there's another myth that I could explore. This myth revolves around teachers and how plausible it is for them to keep up with popular culture. So I've been really surprised that these assumptions have been around for thousands of years. So when I tried to look into possible benefits of pop culture into the classroom, I was very, very skeptical that I would find anything at all. It seems like a no-brainer to engage kids in a classroom. Pop culture is perfect for that. White and Walker both suggest that schools are only now realising the benefit of having fun, enjoyable content in their classroom. Bell, Gropshover and Kneavel have all documented that pop culture can be used to engage students in classes outside of English. These classes can include geography and business. This means that students are more likely to engage in class if you use content that they enjoy. However, Tait suggests that approaching popular culture texts in an uncritical manner, simply to hold the attention of a student, can be problematic, which leads me on to my next point. So my good friend Bill Green, he talks about the relevance of pop culture in classrooms as opposed to high culture. He believes that pop culture texts hold significant value with their social and cultural aspects rather than their aesthetic value. Students are exposed to a lot of pop culture literature in their day-to-day life. Tait suggests that it is important for students to understand the meaning and messages that they are receiving from pop culture. Sphere has found that students that are able to critically analyse meanings from pop culture text are more likely to understand ethical issues in their day-to-day life. Originally, I was under the assumption that pop culture held no literate value in English. I thought it was just a tool to engage students, but now I know it's much more than that. However, if I had my time again, I would have looked into how plausible it is to actually keep up with the changing trends of pop culture.